Conference. Take a look back at Saturday's win over Ball State. Looking forward to Saturday's game against Eastern Kentucky, 3 o'clock here at Kroger Field. And at this point, we will turn it loose for Coach Stoops.
Thanks, Tony. Much like a lot of times, you know, you don't really have a true indicator until you go watch the film and get a good feel for what's transpiring on Saturday afternoon. And you know, I will say that the biggest compliment I could say for our team is they were definitely ready to play the game emotionally. I thought physically we were ready to play the game. We tried to do a lot of things we had talked about, you know, and impose our will and start fast and be physical. And our team, I give them credit, they did a lot of that. And you could see with the disruption, the tackles for loss, the sacks, up front on both sides. And I think even offensively, some of the issues were identifying and making calls, and we need to clean some things up with protection, but there wasn't a lot of guys just flat getting beat. Maybe a little bit of trying to do too much, once or twice sliding down, coming out late, and I misidentified once, but I thought our guys played physical on both sides of the ball. We played really mentally. They were ready to play. What we did not play was very clean. And I felt that Saturday, and that was true with watching the film. The little details and all the things that we talk about, it's a fundamental game. And we played hard, we played physical. We were not always fundamentally sound, and that will bite us eventually. So those are things we have to work on. I tried like heck to constantly preach that in game one, because in game one, they had been training for so long and putting in all that hard work. They want everything to happen immediately instead of, doing their job and doing it fundamentally sound and being, doing all the things they've been coached to do. And we get out there and they mean well and want to do too much and want to do a lot and want to help and make an impact, and therefore fundamentally you suffer sometimes. And that was evident, on both sides. And just like I felt Saturday, some of the third down conversions were a bit frustrating. The way the game played out, offensively, we had 11 plays in the second half until that last 3 minutes. And, and that's why I just wanted to run a few plays, just if nothing else, get our guys in shape and practice and play, just get some game reps under our belt. And, and that felt frustrating Saturday, and it was frustrating. And that's twofold. It's really good. I compliment our team on scoring on offense, defense, and special teams. That's something that we'll always take. But you put that in with long drives. So we start the second half, we get a beautiful drive, I believe we started with, we set a stop, took a little time, we get a long drive, touchdown. Then we're giving up yardage, and then we get the kickoff return and we give up a long drive, and that felt frustrating, and it was. There were long stretches in this game where our offense did not touch the ball, with a defensive score and with a kickoff return, and then with us not converting on third down. And that felt frustrating. It was frustrating, and there were some things in there that we have to get cleaned up. Again, I think we were physical. I liked the offensive line play. I thought it was improvement. You could really see they were finishing blocks. They were playing physical. They were trying to run the ball downhill. I thought we did that. We didn't have a lot of plays. Therefore, you're not getting a lot of touches. Again, you have playmakers out there that are not getting a lot of touches. We simply didn't get enough, we didn't have enough plays. And that's, that you could spread that around for whose fault that was. Offensively, we didn't convert. We had some really good field position at the end of the first half. That felt frustrating. because we did not convert on some of that. And then, and then with the possession time and with them moving the ball and keeping the ball away from us for various reasons, that felt frustrating. And it got us, it's a reason we didn't get as many touches to as many people as we'd like to. So we have to work on that. The bottom line is it comes down to the details and being more detailed, being more focused, and executing at a higher level. If we could keep the same intensity, keep working on the physicality, just being more detailed and execute better in critical moments, we could get some things fixed. And again, I love our team's attitude and effort, and I expect us to have a great week in preparation this week. Looking forward to playing EKU, a team, heck, we got guys on their staff. I know Walt well. He spent time with me here, and he has done a remarkable job at EKU. I believe he's coach of the year the last 2 years there, and did a heck of a job a year ago, and really impressed with their quarterback. They played at a high level a year ago. I know they didn't get off to the start that they wanted to this past week, and there were a variety of reasons for that. Mainly, they got down so quick and got out of the game that they typically play. But they generally play everybody very good, and they had a heck of a year ago. And I want to say Maxwell is on their staff as the quarterback coach, and CJ is the tight end coach, and Walt spending time here. They know us very well, and they do a very good job, and they have a very good, tough team. And I know if I know them and in the competitive nature of their staff and their team and their players, they were probably not real pleased with the way they played in the opener at times. And I'm sure they're going to come in here and improve like we want to improve and want to play extremely hard and play very well in their home state right down the road from them. So we're looking forward to that. We know it'll be a great challenge. And once again, just like anybody we're playing, we need to focus on ourselves. We need to improve this week. We need to coach harder and more detailed, and we need to execute better in critical moments.
Questions? Coach, how do you fine-tune your third down offense to make sure you have a better time of possession this time versus EKU?
Again, just the things I just said, the details. You can't have misidentification. You can't get beat. You can't have bad throws. You can't have drops. You could spread it around. It's not on any one area. But the bottom line is precise execution. And we need to improve in that area.
Martin Kenneth on the depth chart. Is it going to be a long absence?
No. The good news is it will not be season ending at this point. But he will be out for a couple weeks, I think, at least.
The one sack allowed, obviously, Leary looked, comfortable back there in the pocket. You said they were physical, holding their blocks. What else did they do well, and how much of an improvement was that?
I thought overall it was an improvement, and again, I thought the guys played very physical. They wanted to play physical. I thought we targeted things the right way in the run game, even maybe on no real efficient runs. We got to clean up. We got to get better, but our targets were better. We misid'd some things in pass pro, and we got to do a better job there. And I think it was part of it is overanalyzing, and just make a call and live with it, and it got us thinking too much, and so we'll get them straightened out. But I thought they played with really good effort, and we're playing physical. And when we did things right, we were very efficient. I want to say 7 yards play, and and very efficient in the things we were doing. We just gotta those critical moments once again.
Now that you have had some time to watch Dylan Ray, how did he play?
He played good. He played good. Played about like we thought we would. I had a lot of confidence in him going into it, and I was impressed with the way he played.
You think Jagger did it?
A lot of good, and some things that you just can't happen. That we expect consistency out of him. And again, there's a young man that's new position. It's a lot going on. Even with him making a lot of the protections and IDing things and then snapping and then playing well, you put it all together, there's a lot on his plate. And I thought he handled it good. We expect him to be better as we go along.
Is that a position of those responsibilities that you can rep and rep and rep, but you really can't replicate it to get in the game?
Yeah, I think that's very true in a lot of ways. And Dylan Ray, to your point, hadn't had a lot of game snaps, and he goes in there in his first game and really did some good things. And Jagger's had some experience, but it's different at center. And experience matters, and he'll get more comfortable as we go. And so he battles, and he works hard, and he's very bright, so he'll get it done.
The defensive line was in the backfield a lot early on. Do you think maybe some of the later down the stretch it was fatigue or some of those third and longs not getting home? How did they hold up, if you will, in that second half?
The third and longs were very manageable for them. So a lot of them were. If you look early, I want to say on the long drive that they got early, we had 2 penalties. I don't think that was the drive, but we had 2 that helped them. One, I know we started with a holding, defensive holding, and then we got we gave them 5 yards and shortened it. And later in the game, there were a lot of manageable third downs. There was a lot of 3rd and 4, 3rd and 5. And so you're getting the ball out quick. They're spacing us out and getting rid of the ball. One, we were pressed, and man, we got beat on that. Some others, we were in coverage and manageable situations, so the ball's coming out. It's not like they're sitting back there forever and letting the D-line get home, on that. Matter of fact, one of the pressures we brought, when you're doing that, now the ball's coming out quick. So that's an easy read and a quick read, so it's not like you really have time. It's grab and throw, and they converted that. So, we just got to we got to be more efficient. Once again, the devil's in the details. The little things, the pushing our zones, the matching things up properly. One time we left the back alone when we had everything covered, and we were inches away from sacks on some of these too. I mean, it was quick, and we just got to be a little more precise, and we could have had a couple more.
The kind of message was what you preached all last week, was playing clean. So I don't know, frustrating, but how do you handle that as a coach when you kind of see it coming and it still happens? Well,
the big thing is, as I told the staff this, we have to teach, better. We have to teach off this. Our team had great effort, and I love that. They wanted to be physical. They wanted to be dominant, and they, wanted to impose their will on both sides, and I thought our guys came out ready to play. But with that, with the hype, it's maturity. It's us coaching. It's, whether, you simplify things, which I know we didn't overdo it in this game. We just got to do a better job of teaching, and the players got to be coachable, and they got to understand that because they mean well.
We talked a lot about Liam's return. What was it actually like to have him on the headset, have him there? What was his sprinkle as you
Well, I don't know this. He and I haven't talked about this, and I don't see it, but I would imagine that's probably what would, put some of the pressure on, not pressure, but I'm sure he, much like the players, much like myself, I came out of there obviously frustrated, because that first game you want to do so well, and he's coming back and he wants to do well, and heck, we had a good plan. We need to be better in certain areas, a little more precise, and again, not putting the blame on any one area or any one group. There's just a lot of things we could do better. The quarterback can put the ball in a better spot at times. The receivers can flatten their route and be more precise on their route running, or we can ID things better. There's a lot of things that we'll improve on.
He said the interception, he said it was a bad play call on himself, Liam. So, I mean, is their dynamic going well? Like, how do you...
No, he's him. He's like that, like all of us. Coaches, we're going to be harder on ourselves than any of you can be. The play call was fine. There were guys open. I could question the decision on what guy we threw it to. There were guys. It was all slants. There were guys open.
Coach, Henry Young is on the depth chart this week. What did you do like to kind of see him on there this week?
He's been consistently just getting better and working, and I like that about him. He's just gone to work, and he's taken to coaching, and Anwar does a really good job fundamentally, and that D-line group in general has been collectively pretty good for each other and challenging each other and just trying to improve and play hard, and I think he's doing that.
Khalil had a second half on Saturday. He looked a lot quicker from upstairs. Is he kind of a guy you've talked about him a lot over the years that you're expecting a jump from? And that was obviously.
It was, and he's a big dude, and he's long, and he can run. You know, you saw that on one of the plays when he went flat down the sideline. Actually, in camp, he did that chasing down a quarterback, and he was running, and he tweaked his hamstring. Took him out for a couple, a little bit in camp, but this week, he ran down the line, and he was moving. And so he gives us some twitch and that length, and he's getting better. Again, just keep on worrying about himself and fundamentally getting better, and good things will happen.
You mentioned effort and intensity. Trevin seems to kind of represent that
Yeah.
as well as anybody. What did the film show that maybe you didn't see?
I think that's a really good combination with D-Jack and Trevin, because D-Jack is very, very anchored, and in control of the middle and calls and adjustments in a comfort zone with those two playing each other. And Trevin will wow you, with the athleticism, and played a really good game. When Brad brought him several times, you feel his impact on pressures. He's a big dude that's got some pop to him, and so he's impactful. When we pressure, he can obviously run like heck. I want to say he ran on our GPS. Don't quote me exactly, but I want to say it was it was the second fastest time on the whole game. It was like 21 something miles an hour, 21 point something. I mean, that's moving for a dude that's 240 pounds. He can run. And so, but there was a couple things, that he drifted, just eye violation a little bit, but played a really good game and played extremely hard and was sideline to sideline. So, and I think D-Jack did some good things as well.
Mark, after you watched the film, what did you think of the cornerbacks?
Things we need to do better. We need to play stronger and fight through the ball. The long one that I was talking about that they converted down the sideline. We got to play through the ball better, do things we're taught to do, be more competitive at the top of the route. We got beat in another man concept where we were just not strong enough at the top of the route. We didn't finish through it, and anticipate things and understand down and distance. And so I thought they, did some good things at times. I thought early, Maxwell, it felt like a first-time starter, and he's going to get better and better. Again, those game reps early were like a lot of guys early in the season, and just he'll improve. But they did some good things and then played very tough at times as well. I thought Drew really pulled the pin and was physical on some and doing his job, and he's a experienced player, can play some nickel, can play corner, and doing some good things. Alex's hit, being physical there, was really good to see, and the discipline of really hitting him with the shoulder and not his head, and not targeting the head, was good. And so there were some really, good things in there as well. Like I felt frustrated or afterwards, and I'm still, our team will be very demanding this week. But to my point earlier, we got to teach better, execute better, be more precise. If we could stay with that same intensity, same physicality, good things will happen. And so there were a lot of discipline things in that game as well. A lot of things that the guys were coached to do and played very well at times. We just need to play good all the time.
You mentioned Walt Wells earlier, and the situation and why he came to UK, and his last calendar year has been amazing. What kind of relationship do you have with him? Because it is somewhat unique.
I think it is unique. Walt and I have a really good, strong relationship. We're both extremely busy running our jobs. And so it's not like we get to spend as much time socially as we used to. You know, when he was here, obviously, he was a guy I talked to quite a bit. The role that he was in and the experience that he had. And, you know, I just got to visit with him a bunch, and we became good friends and try to catch up here and there. We had lunch, I want to say one time in the off season with a couple mutual friends. But you know, we always enjoy seeing each other. And then, of course, I saw him at the Heart Ball when I introduced him there. And but he's just a really good person. I think he's a really good coach. He does a great job in recruiting and a lot of experience in coaching, and it's evident. I want to say, wasn't he the coach of the year the last 2 years in that league? And so he, you know, he's done a really good job. And they played really good a year ago because we watched them a lot in the off season, obviously. And again, I don't think this first game was an indication of who they will be as the season goes on.
When he had that heart attack, like, did it make you any more introspective or anything like that on the demands of this job?
Well, I think I always pay attention to that, being what happened to my father, and so, you know, when that happened to Walt, very scary moment, obviously, and you know, for us as coaches, and you know, we all have to watch that. I mean, we could talk about it till blue in the face, but we're going to do what we do, you know, and that's, you know, that's. Do what I say, not what I do, right? Yeah.
Mark, on a personal level, how weird is it going to be to see C.J. Conrad and Maxwell Smith on the other side?
Well, I'll enjoy seeing those guys, and you know, but the focus will be there on all sides. You know, they're competitors, believe me. You ask them, and I know they love UK. And, you know, have strong relationships on this staff, but I expect them to want to go in there and try to rip our eyeballs out. And our team's going to go out there and try to play hard and play physical and win. And we want to play every play, you know, and that's just it. I will say that, you know, our guys, they played hard start to finish. We just need to be better, as I mentioned it 20 times in here today. But if we continue to play hard, you know, and you know, get more detailed, you know, that's what we want to do. And we did play hard Saturday. Again, I just wanted to run plays at the end of the game. We had 11 plays to that point offensively in the second half. I mean, we got to get in shape. We got to get better. Our operation was not clean Saturday with, you know, the first time Devin reading it off the wristband. You know, we weren't overly complicated. The guys had a really good plan, but the operation, you know, needs to get smoother.
Eastern and Youngstown State were a pretty good deal back in the one double A.
Yeah.
That's some great games, right?
Yeah.
Growing up there and being around that area, were you familiar with their kind of tradition and kind of the pride they have?
I was, because I had gone to some Youngstown State games early. You know, my Uncle Bob coached, you know, with Coach Tressel, and my Uncle Bob, he goes by Super Bob. You know, we got Bob Stoops, and then my uncle is Super Bob, and so he always likes to talk about it. He has more national championships than any of us, so he was there. So he doesn't let me live it down. So of course I know about Youngstown State and EKU. Yeah.
Coach, you talked about EKU's quarterback, and you talked about your corners and game experience and those kind of things. What kind of experience is it bringing and playing a quarterback at that level early on in the year?
Well, I think it's going to be another good challenge, because I think he does a very good job, much like Devin did Saturday. Devin did a nice job in the pocket of eluding pressure, buying time, you know, retreating sometimes and getting off a fantastic throw that, you know, drew a flag, you know, that led to 7 points. That's a big difference there. Instead of taking a sack and a longer field goal, he retreated and made a great throw. We get PI and end up scoring. I mean, there's a big difference, and I think, you know, EKU's the same way. I think he does a very good job of being just savvy in the pocket and extending plays and making plays. And again, you know, watching all their film from last year, they're efficient. You know, they've been very efficient. And so I expect them to make great improvement between week 1 and week 2. And it totally, you know, for them, I'm sure they're looking at it like, wow, that's, you know, it totally got out of hand because of the score, you know, quick early, and didn't let them just operate their normal offensive plan.
told us that DeAndre Square actually challenged him to get on that captain's list this year.
Pardon me?
Trogan said that DeAndre
Yeah.
challenged him to get on that captain's list. In general, how important is it that your most talented players are also taking on those kinds of
Well,
leaders?
I think it's important, and I've always wanted to be authentic because I always want it to be a player-led team, but I'd also just don't want it to be a popularity contest. And so we dove into it. I mentioned beforehand, and I don't want to get too much in the weeds on it, but I voted for captains more in depth than I have before of just checking a box. And much like we do our evaluations, and our players do self-evaluations and peer evaluations, and they have to answer some detailed questions and give some answers on people and let them think about different things instead of talent or popularity or anything else. And we did that this year, and I got a lot more feedback. But what was interesting is it was right in line with who our captains were.
Everybody good?
Mark, I know how much you appreciate every win. You've been here 11 years, but did you ever think you'd see the day here where you have kind of picked apart a 30-point win?
I hope so. I mean, I need to. I always feel that way. I think, you're at a point, you always have to keep things in perspective and keep an even keel. I talk that to the team all the time. I mean, I think everybody understands a big win is a big win, a tough loss is a tough loss, but in general for us, you really have to approach everything the same and always be, demanding, with our team. I think sometimes some players, as a coach, you do have to approach things differently. People are different, teams are different. And when you're teaching, and for us it's teaching and coaching, you have to have the right pulse and push them the right way. I believe this team can take hard coaching and respond the right way. And we always want to be demanding but never demeaning. And I expect that of our players with one another as well, to keep each other accountable and be very demanding of what we expect, but not demean.
Aaron, last one.
Mark, one of your freshmen, Ty Bryant, how did he play Saturday?
Ty's been really solid. I really have been impressed overall with Ty. Just the way he approaches it. He did come in early, but he's. I like the way he's progressing. I like the way he approaches the game. I like the way he's very serious about it. He takes pride in it. He's getting better. He's instinctual. He helps us on special teams. He's our fourth safety. And so he will play. And I have confidence in him. He's just got to continue to just stay the course. He's doing good things. And, if every freshman approached every workout and every practice and everything the way he does, then they'd be further along. And he's done a good job.
Last one, Aaron.
Yeah. Jeremy played, I think, 40 snaps at right tackle. What did you see from him? He doesn't look like he gave up a pressure, and also Cortland when he rotated in.
Yeah, I thought, when Jeremy was in there, we were, he really tried to play physical, and he really improved, and he had a good game. And Cortland, we had been rotating. They're even. They could both play equally as much. Cortland, one time, he didn't miss ID. He tried to do too much. He came down and was helping, and then somebody came late and gave up a pressure. When you're in the moment, sometimes you're unsure until you watch the film exactly what happened. You could almost understand it, just see it a little quicker. But Cortland did some good things as well. He passed some things off. He was physical. He did a nice job on a twist that should be routine that he made look routine. And Eli one time missed one, and he's been around. You know what I mean? He'll get that fixed quickly and easily. And so Cortland did some good things, but there was a pressure or two. And at the time, we felt like we were driving the ball with Flaxey, and so we stayed with it. But they're both starters. They're both interchangeable and playing well.
Thank you very much.
Okay, thanks.